And we're live. Everyone, welcome to the Unscripted Podcast. My name is Alex. This is
Eric.
And today we're going to be starting the Unscripted Podcast. We're going to be releasing 2 episodes every week. We're going to start off our first episode as a little bit of an intro, get to know us, get to know the structure a little bit more, and every second episode every week is going to be a guest that we're going to bring on to talk about their opportunities, the way that they've came up in life, and the things that they've been able to succeed in, the challenges they've gone through, and all the above. So, Eric, give us, let's start off with a little breakdown of what our podcast is. Let's break it down a little bit to the people. It's something new. What's the best way you can explain our podcast to the people?
I mean, really, it gets unscripted. That's the best definition I could give. We're going to be talking about recent activities that happen in the world. We're going to be talking about breaking news in a way, breaking news in a way, right? We're going to break it down, what it means to us, what it means to you, of course. And then we're going to get into sports a little bit. We're going to talk about betting, our own betting habits a little bit.
We'll talk about that later. That's a different topic.
Yeah. And then we're going to, jump into the business world a little bit.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different topics we want to reach out and talk to. It's really just to talk about everything. We're talking about daily talk, things going on near. We're based out of the Metro Detroit area, so things that are going on in our city, things that are going on around the country, trending topics, debatable topics. We got sports, we got our daily lives, we got interesting things that happen over the weekend. So it's going to be a little bit of everything. That's why we're calling it the Unscripted Podcast. So Eric, let's jump into a little bit. We actually started off with, there's a trending guy here you could talk about because you know him a little bit more than I do.
So there's a guy right here out of Pontiac, Michigan. He's a 40-year-old gentleman named Wayne Lee. He went by Footage Gang 248 on most social media.
You watch this guy all the time, didn't you?
Correct. Yeah. I happened to come by him one day just scrolling through Instagram, the algorithm just happened to find me some way, somehow.
Who don't know him, what is he doing?
So what he is doing, in a sense, he is creating fake accounts on the internet, posing as underage girls in a way, right, to catch local pedophiles and sex offenders and things across Michigan. But he's also getting people from state lines. They're coming over states from, like, Indiana, I believe. Illinois.
So, in a sense, he's like a vigilante.
Correct.
He's like a Robin Hood,
Right, and it's truly unfortunate because I heard that he unfortunately passed away last evening. Yesterday evening. Correct, yeah. Which is...
Do we know the story behind that? Do we know what happened?
We know a little bit about the story, right? So he passed away. It sounds like he was chasing, or he got 2 people to come into Pontiac. Yeah. Local. It looks like he got them to a Coney Island right there off of around Perry Street.
For people that watching that don't know Coney Island, it's like a Denny's. It's a small little diner. It's a popular Michigan thing. They have all those small. That's where you get like your.
It's like American style food.
Yeah, you get Coney dog. You get a burger, some fries, a quick waffle. It's the spot.
Yeah. So there was 2 men that came in. It looks like Lee was accused of punching one of the men after accusing him of being a pedophile. And one of the men pulled out a knife. Yeah. And then, unfortunately, one of the other men pulled out a gun and fatally shot him to death, unfortunately.
Wow. So
it's really sad because he was doing great things.
He's doing good.
And the fact is, in a lot of his Instagram reels, he has nearly 1,500 posts on Instagram, 1,444 posts. Wow. And
has he been doing this for a while now?
Yes. I'm not quite sure on how many years, but it's multiple years.
How long have you been watching?
At least the last 6-7 months.
Wow. So he's definitely been around.
Yeah, he was live on Instagram a lot, things along those lines. What I've noticed a lot, too, is in some of his older videos, he's tried to get the police involved.
Yeah. Do they help him at all?
In some of the videos, the police are encouraging him and helping him, right? But then there's also some of those videos where the police are saying that he's the one causing the problems.
That's what I'm saying.
Because he's the one influencing the older gentleman to come to Pontiac where there's... Correct, in a way, but... I don't see that anyway.
That's what I was reading the Oakland County Sheriff's report on it, and it's I think it's Mike Bouchard. He's the sheriff's name, and he was like, I applaud him for what he does, but he knew the risk that he was taking. It's not something that's just safe and smart to do. It's not a joke. It's not funny.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And on the other hand, speaking of sadly of people getting killed, did you hear about the new information released about the Tupac murder.
Keefy D.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere.
Alex, if you go back on the internet, we all know Vlad. People think Vlad's an undercover cop.
Of course.
Right?
We've all seen the documentaries. We've seen the videos. But why not?
If you go back on the internet and maybe if our editor's good enough, we'll pop a couple up on the screen here. From 5 years ago, he's telling the exact same story of what the police are saying. They can now corroborate.
Yeah.
And I said that word so wrong. Collaborate to be the correct story.
See, this is why it's the Unscripted Podcast. We mess up our words. We're straight to it. There's no editing, nothing.
It's like first try Friday.
And that's all it is.
Anyway, so he pretty much told this story on Vlad's interview, right? And to people that are discrediting Vlad, saying that he might be an informant, he came out and said, and we may be even able to link this podcast below or this interview. He came out and said that he got subpoenaed for those emails or for the full documentary. Yeah. For the full interview. Yeah, for the Unscripted, baby. Yeah. For the full interview, and he lawyered up. Didn't send him a damn thing.
Yeah, he played the fifth probably.
No. It gets a little technical. He didn't send him anything. He didn't say anything. Okay. He made it very clear. You come on his show, which it's another thing that people are talking about.
Let me ask you this now. So, Tupac died 15 years ago? Maybe longer than
96.
That. Yeah. So I
was born in 98. I'm 24. So 26 years ago.
It's a long time ago, Eric. Why now? What's the purpose here? Is there a bigger picture? I don't mean to get into conspiracies or anything like that, but is there a distraction that we're supposed to be looking at? Is there, because not many people would be interested in a sense, but a lot of the younger people, the millennials, that's something that more appeals to them, and that's something that could quickly grab their attention and be like, what happened? Let's forget about everything else. Do you think there's a bigger picture here? What's your opinion on that?
Yes and no.
Is it too deep? Am I getting too deep? Am I being too much of a conspiracist?
Yes and no, because yes in a way, because there's no new evidence
100%.
Of what happened the night besides them being able to find new people that were willing to talk and collaborate that interviews and stuff that they were seeing all over the media. Yeah. And then my other sense is we've seen documentaries. Multiple.
They're over Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime.
I truly don't think. I think they're telling the truth when they say they never really put these cases down. I'm not gonna say they put millions of dollars into budget spending trying to solve it.
100%.
But there's always someone out there that was solving or trying to solve this case because
it left a huge impact in history.
It left a huge impact, and it needed to be solved one way or another. I'm interested to see if they're gonna solve Biggie's next, or try to figure out who killed Biggie.
Did they charge the guy?
So they charged him. I didn't look too much into this. So they charged him. I believe he's the only person
who's been convicted.
He's the only one convicted, but he's the only one that was in that car that is still alive.
Oh, so there's the plot twist.
Yes. So the driver deceased. Two people in the back seat deceased, and Keefy D came out and said in an interview that one of the people in the back seat were the shooters, but he wasn't going to say their name. He was going to keep it to the streets.
Very interesting.
Yep.
Let's on a different topic. What is his name? J-Mo for the Detroit Lions. He got a recent suspension for betting.
Yeah. J-Mo got a recent suspension for betting.
And so it was, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he was betting inside a Lions facility, but not betting on a football-related game. Is that correct?
Correct. So J-Mo was betting the Lions practice facility here in Allen Park, betting on, I believe, golf. Believe it or not.
He must have had a little in off Phil Nicholson or something like that, Yep. We don't know what was happening. But so what ended up happening? So he ended up placing a bet.
Yep.
He got caught for it.
Yep. Actually, a couple Lions players ended up getting caught for it. I believe 4 of them. Wow. 2 of them. Actually, I believe 3 of them suspended released off the team. J-Mo was the only one they kept.
Why is that? What happened with him? What was? Is it because he's J-Mo?
We drafted him, I believe, first round last year.
We can't let him go now.
He's been injured. I believe he was injured. Don't quote me on this. I think he played 3 or 4 games last year, and then he was suspended the first 6 this year.
So he has a 6-game suspension right now. Is that what it is?
Correct. Well, he's game 5. He'll be back now.
Why?
Because of the new NFL game rule change.
What's that?
So
they're changing it too much. I can't keep up.
Yes. Yeah. So NFL, I guess, reviews their gambling policy every couple of years. And their gambling policy they changed was that, well, they changed several of them. One being that if you get caught gambling in one of the NFL facilities on a different sport, it's no longer a 6-game suspension for first-time offenders.
Wow.
It's now only a 2-game suspension.
Wow. So he dodged a bullet.
He dodged a huge one. Well, I mean, not really, because he already did 4 games suspended. So he's overserved, in a way.
So are they going to do anything about that?
I don't know, but they're reinstating him. They're not making him do the full 6 that they suspended him for.
That's not bad. Not bad.
I think take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
We're happy. J-Mo's back.
J-Mo's back, baby.
2 games early.
And who are we playing next? We're playing the Chicago Bears next, or who are we playing next? I can't even recall. Let's look up over our next schedule.
I believe if you don't quote me, I think we're playing Carolina or the Raiders.
No. Game is going to be against the Carolina Panthers.
Yep, Carolina Panthers at home.
Yep, it's gonna be 1 o'clock.
It's gonna be a good game.
Everyone tune in for that game to go watch the Detroit Lions absolutely smoke the Carolina Panthers. And I'm sure you guys heard this a lot. Eric's heard this a lot. I've heard it a lot. We're going to the fucking Super Bowl, baby.
All roads run through Detroit.
Hey, damn right they do. Damn right they do.
So I mean, Alex, I know we were just at the local DraftKings Sports and Social watching the Colorado USC game.
That's exactly right. That's exactly.
How did you feel about that? How did you feel watching that game? Did you feel they were better than their game last week they played versus Oregon? Colorado being better than their game versus Oregon?
So Eric, like when we talked in private a couple of days ago off camera, I told you that this game's gonna be a shit show. Mm-hmm. You asked me, you think it's gonna be over 40? I said, Eric, it's gonna be over 60. And I think that's exactly what it was. I think that I'll have to double check the final score on it, but I believe the final score ended up being 43 to 17.
Let's double check on that.
Let's double check on that. Colorado.
I mean, the problem is here, Alex, is I believe Colorado had a great first 3 games, right? Alex, what is the final score?
So we had a final score of 48.
Okay.
To 41. Colorado came back,
wow.
But we managed to have a 89-point game.
89-point game.
It's crazy to see that Coach Prime managed to come back like that. It's crazy because when we left DraftKings at around the 3rd quarter, maybe 5 minutes left, and they were down by a good 20, 30 points.
Yes. Alex, Coach Prime did come out and say last week, Oregon. That's the worst you're going to see his team. I believed it.
I'll give it to him because USC is the top contender in the country. Every single starter.
For NFL?
Yes.
Okay.
Every starter on that team is about to be drafted either minimum first, second round.
Every starter on the team?
Yes.
On the team?
So a starter is 11-11, so 22 players. I think 15 players will be in the first round.
15? I'm going to have to go on the under on that.
You think so?
Let's take 100 on it right now.
Oh man,
Let's
no!
Go.
I don't want it. I don't know USC that well.
Okay.
Talk to me about the Lions. Maybe I'll put some money on it.
Okay. I think they're going to the Super Bowl.
Here, let me tell you something about some money. So, today we put down some little bit of an interesting bet. Some people call it a miracle bet. I call it something else. Alex likes to call it something he does for fun. We got 2,677 odds. We got Michigan money line. We got Blake Corum as an anytime touchdown. We got Donovan Edwards as an anytime touchdown. We got J.J. McCarthy as an anytime touchdown. We got Michigan as a minus 12.5 spread. We got J.J. McCarthy as a +1 passing touchdown. Donovan Edwards for 25 plus rushing yards. and Cornelius Johnson for 25 plus rushing or receiving yards. And it's doable. It's a long one, but that's how we're building up the odds on it because we got to build up something to make it profitable. Right. We put down, I believe, $10 on it to pay $267. So 26x my money. I'll take it.
Doable.
And on top of
pays the light bill these days.
It is. And to add on top of it, we did create a Hail Mary. It was a 25 leg parlay on every college game happening today. It is a money line and an over under bet. So out of the 25, we've already secured 2. Definitely looking forward to secure some more. It seemed like a pretty easy bet. We did money line, over under all the way around. All the favorites are, as long as they come through, they come through. We're cashing the bet. It was $5 to hit for 6,700. So I believe
that's a lot of legs to hit.
I believe the odds were 32,000 on it.
Okay.
It was intense.
What are you placing those on?
They're all different ones, that I won't really necessarily say at the moment because we're not sponsored. But, so if you sports betting apps ever feel interested of giving us any promos, I got you. No problem.
Got you. We'll bet our own money.
100%. So last week, the Lions played the Green Bay Packers.
Correct.
And
did the Lions play the Green Bay Packers, or did the Lions play nobody in the Green Bay Packers were there?
Did we play a high school team from Green Bay?
I think
they substituted.
I think I saw more Honolulu blue in the stands than I saw more puke green.
So me and Eric were watching the game together on Sunday night Thursday night, and towards the end of the game, once everyone left, it was at least 250 fans. They're just standing there behind the cameras, behind the ESPN crowd, behind the commentators, and they were going nuts. Yeah. You could hear them right over the commentators.
It was great. You saw even some well-known faces in there from the Detroit area.
Definitely some well-known.
It was good game, I'm sure.
Most definitely, it was a good feeling because it's our 4th game in a row now, and Green Bay
which sorry to cut you off, is a record.
It most definitely is. They just lost Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Whooped our ass for years. He just when you're a veteran like that, you know the game differently. You move differently. You know the game differently. Yeah. And there's nothing I can even say about it. But now, who's their new quarterback? Jordan Love.
He's not loving the game anymore. He spent 4 years behind Rodgers before starting for Green Bay. 100%. You would think he'd be a hell of a lot better than he is.
You would think that he would have rubbed off on him a little bit, throw some little sprinkle on him.
Sorry, Jordan Love. You're a lot better than me, but I'm not getting paid millions to play football here.
No, 100%. And it just gets to the point of like, why recruit these guys? What expectation? What did you see to take this guy? Because how I think of it is like, I played football as a kid, right? Mm-hmm. And it's something you can genuinely say that the older you get, the more advanced the players get, and the more advanced everything gets. Mm-hmm. So these guys are used to being the star in college, but then they're now put up against the 1% in the NFL.
Don't get me wrong. Jordan Love was drafted. Not sure what round. Yes. I think he's a great backup quarterback to Aaron Rodgers. I think he was a great backup quarterback. 100%. I do not think he is starting quarterback material. And I'm sorry, Jordan Love.
So Jordan Love's draft, he was a 26th pick in the first round. So honestly, it's good for him for going in the first round, but I think he was all hype.
Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of busts go in the first round. Think about it. Brock Purdy,
100%.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Johnny Manziel.
Tom Brady. So, these are some of the best quarterbacks Brock Purdy's rookie, but...
So, the thing that it comes down to is because, for example, Jared Goff, he's been with the Lions for now, 4 years? 3 years? Yep. Yeah. He started off on a rough edge, and after that, he slowly got his stuff together. We built a better team, he built a better relationship, and they built the chemistry. He knows how to work now.
Right.
But back onto the Packers game, so there was Quay Walker. You know who that is?
To touch a little bit on Jared Goff before we get off of that. The average person doesn't know Jared Goff is a Super Bowl quarterback.
He is.
He took the Rams to the Super Bowl and lost it.
Got drafted right after, and got shipped off, off right after.
He got shipped right to Detroit after.
100%.
Are you watching this podcast right now eating the same boring chips, drinking on the same regular drink with some dry chocolate? Here at 313 Exotic Drinks, we got you covered. We got drinks and snacks ranging from all over the world, assuring something that you've never had. Something to get every part of your taste buds wanting more and more. We got drinks ranging from America, Europe, chips from Japan, and even chips from Europe. Make sure to go check us out at 313exotic.com and go use code Unscripted for 15% off your order. Now back to the podcast. Come on.
But yeah, Quay Walker. Tell me a little bit about that, Alex.
Quay Walker.
Quay,
whatever it is. It's at this point he's a joke, so I don't feel too bad messing up his name. He has I think he gets paid by the Detroit Lions. He's a player for the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
And the last for sure the last 2 games, maybe 3 games out of the 4, he has done something intentionally, almost seemingly, to screw over the Packers.
Okay.
And so, like, what I mean is by the last game, he hurdled over one of our Aiden Hutchinson, I believe. He hurdled over Aiden Hutchinson.
The last week.
Yes, last week on Thursday, during the game during Green Bay and Lions.
It was over Aiden. You're not.
No, it was a field goal. So I think they put Aiden right up front.
And you're not jumping over Aiden Hutchinson.
Maybe it wasn't. It was someone. Correct me if I'm wrong. Whatever it is, but he jumped over someone. And as he's jumping over, he kicked him in the butt. He put his foot down and stomped on him, like right in the butt. And it almost looked like it's intentional. So because of that, Lions got to go for a first down and got to go for a touchdown. Last year, one of the Detroit Lions players got injured, was on the field. So they brought out the medical staff, they brought the trainers, everything. The trainers checking on him. Quay Walker comes up, pushes the medical staff. Instantly, ref comes over, throws the flag, ejected, out the game. And he's a good player too. That's the thing. He's a good player.
Yeah.
But he's just screwing himself in the team every time. Because it's not like he's taking the penalty. The whole team is, That's the main thing.
It's sad. I mean, that's I believe that was Thanksgiving, or that was the last game of the year.
Or honestly, I can barely remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, so I can't recall on a game that happened last year.
I mean, let's talk about that also, because him getting ejected, that's a fine. That's more money for the NFL. Let's talk about NFL fines. I mean,
all around, because that's I was watching Marshawn Lynch, he just came out with this documentary, and that's what he told all of his offensive linemen. If you see a path, clear it for me. I don't care what penalty we get. I don't care what fine you get. I'll cover it. Just get me away. And that's a real guy right there. He's like, just play the ball and protect me. And if anything happens, I'll cover it because it's my fault. I told you to go do your job. And that's real stuff right there, Marshawn Lynch probably had to pay, I would assume, over $500,000 in fines throughout his NFL career. Yeah. Because every time he would grab his groin and he would jump into the end zone and look at the defender, and every time he did that, he got a $15,000 fine. How many touchdowns did he get?
So a lot. He made a lot of money, and he did it while he's drinking. A lot.
Smoking, drinking.
I don't know about smoking, but I saw an interview with him and Peyton Manning. He said, for every game, at least 3 shots of Hennessy.
Every time. It was in his locker.
Yep.
So, that's just the business side of it.
That's the business side of the NFL right there.
On a different aspect, Eric, you're a real estate agent. The market's it's on a flip side right now. We're nowhere near what we were during COVID.
You would think.
Well, tell me about it. Tell me, where are we at?
Right. We're not
where are we at?
Right. We're not anywhere near where we were at COVID. COVID, interest rates 2.5%, 3% tops, right?
What are they at now usually?
Now we're pushing 7.635 maybe. Good days 7.25.
So we'll call it 8%.
We'll just call it 8. Well, let's call it 7% to give a little hope here. But we don't have the crystal ball, so we don't know what's coming.
I don't have hope. But...
So, yeah, during COVID, housing was getting unaffordable. It seemed for a lot of families, right?
So as we talked about earlier today, it's as you're making more, stuff becomes more expensive. Right. So it doesn't even matter. You could be making $100,000 a year, but the car that used to be $20,000, it's now $50,000.
Right. No, and that's the problem. I mean, prices rised a lot during COVID because interest rates hit. I mean, the lowest we've ever seen them. In our 100%. Lifetime, right? Buyers were coming out of the woodwork.
You're how old?
24.
Yeah, you're 20. Yeah. So we were too young to obviously understand 2009, 2008.
Right.
But-
And I mean, we all know someone who lost a house in 2008,
Lost a job,
2009,
lost a
a
house,
house, job,
Mhm.
anything. And I mean, I personally, the experts I'm around every day who've been in the industry 20, 30 years, right? They don't see prices, they don't see the market crashing necessarily like the media is making it out to be.
100%.
I do believe, though, and again, I don't have a crystal ball, so please don't quote me on this. I do believe prices are going to fall going into the new year.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
But what do you consider? Do you think it'll drop by half a point?
No, I'm talking about the prices of homes.
Well, would an interest rate, in a sense, have to an account on that?
If interest rates drop
Yeah.
to, let's just say, 5%,
Okay.
house prices should skyrocket up because more
Because-
buyers are going to come out of the woodwork.
100%. 100%.
From the Fed is talking about, Powell is talking about raising rates at least once more before the end of the year.
Yes, I heard
So-
about that. To get it to 8%.
I don't know if we'll hit 8%. Again, it's hard to say. We don't have the crystal ball, right? We should definitely push 8, though. And then I believe going in after the first quarter of the new year, going into the second, I think rates will come down a little bit. And then, I mean, here in Michigan, the market's always hot in the summer. So,
100%.
I mean, even right now, I have listings. My people on my team have listings that we're getting multiple offers on still.
100%.
30, 40 grand over asking still. Still a seller's market, but it's almost time to get that equity out now.
100%.
Yeah, people are chasing a golden goose.
Right.
You know, they might never catch it. That's the
Right.
problem. And that's the thing that's the problem with me because, you know, I'm a business owner as well. Shout out 313 Exotic Drinks right here. I'm an importer. You know, I'm a wholesaler and I'm an importer. So I'm dealing with different countries, different currencies, tax rates, and all the above. And so it's worked out in my favor, but it hasn't. So, like, luckily, I don't want to say luckily, but for me, luckily, prices of snacks and drinks in America, just our regular Coke, chips, they've gradually gone up in price. So, like, I remember during COVID, like 2020, 2021, you could go in the liquor store and you could go get 2 Cokes for $2.50 or like 2 for $3. They had the deals all the time.
You could get gas for 99 cents.
It's $1.20.
20, you know,
A
like,
lot has changed.
but that's what I'm saying. So now you go in there and one drink is $2.49, $2.39. And so that's the thing for me. My drinks are imported, so I'm luckily, you know, getting the benefit of the doubt because at least for now, our currency is stronger than theirs. Thankfully for now, you know, knock on wood. And so I'm paying them, and that's the one thing that makes it harder for me is because without pointing any fingers, there's specific people in our government right now who aren't the smartest. And Joe Biden doesn't necessarily want to do the right thing.
Pointing fingers.
Yeah, I'm pointing the fingers right away. Fuck him. So, Sleepy Joe. We need to make sure that we're not putting tariffs all over the country because you're screwing yourself in the long run. Because that's the thing. So what I'm saying is that right now we've created a lot of statutes and standards that we can't deal with these people. We can't deal with these people. If they help us, we'll help them. Da 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 da. It's business. If you want to make money, you got to deal with everyone. That's the thing.
Right.
You know, that's what they're telling China. China's on the opposite side of the world. Whether they agree with America or not, that's their prerogative because they're in their own country. If they come to us, that's its own story. You have to agree to what we say because you're on our land, you're on our territory. But business is business. They're offering money. So let's start working with them. And that's where I'm coming back to get a little sidetracked is that my shipping just gets more and more expensive. So is that, you know, my products are cheap in itself.
Because you're going through customs, you're doing pallets.
So it's all the
Tell
above.
me a little bit about it.
I'll give you a full breakdown. So I'll give you the aspects. So I wish it was just as simple as me driving down the street to your local Asian mart and I just go grab the things and I'm good to go. I wish. You can find, you know, your few things here and there, but I'm trying to make sure I can find all the exclusive exotic items that aren't available around here. So we're going directly to distributors that are located in those countries where the products are sourced from. We're making sure that we have all the proper FDA products and label, certification, everything. Because so in America, we're the only country that has the most loose laws for food. And what I mean by that is that for you to sell food in America, you can put anything you want in it. You just have to put it in the FDA label. So if you want to put silicon dioxide 36, you can. you just must put on the label that it's on the back food label. The countries that I import from, they actually have food standard. So you can't be over this amount of fat. It can't be used these products. It can't be this, and that. So it's all healthier and, better. So, like, like, for example, like the Skittles like this, they're not, like, all artificial and all crazy. They don't have, like, the crazy, what?
I don't know why I thought I was going to be able to read the back
Asian,
of this.
Man, I say, but if you look at all this stuff, like, they're more natural, they're healthier, because, like, America, they're trying to cut every corner to make it last as long and to make it as cheap as possible,
right.
And from my countries, they want actually care about their people. They want them not to eat junk, eat junk food, but don't have it destroy your body. And so it gets to the point where I have to order so much product for it to be worth it, because if I'm only ordering 2 pallets and my shipping is $10,000 all the way to go through sea, through China, and this, and that, it's not worth it for me. Because that means I'm adding $50 to each case. And as a wholesaler, I can't do that.
It's not worth it.
No,
Project margins are not there.
That's exactly right, because you've got to make it worth it for everyone, because I don't want these to be sold at a extreme, because they are expensive products, don't get me wrong, but I don't want them to be sold at a premium price of $15 for a bag of chips.
You want everybody to be able to get them, it sounds like.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
I don't want it just to be something that's exclusive for everyone. It is on the higher side, but again, it's coming from you all the way from half the side of the world, and it's something that you can not get here at all locally anywhere else.
Right. Interesting.
Do you have anything to top off for us?
I can't really think.
It's maybe drinking too much champagne.
Yeah.
And that might do it.
That's probably why I'm over here stumbling over a couple words and stuff.
We've been on
First episode, so bear with us here.
We've been on a bench 12 o'clock.
It's unfortunate, the podcast people watching, that we have to drink so much because, on undisclosed websites, don't let our bets hit when we're watching sports.
Yeah, so sometimes you got to ease the nerves a little bit, and we're going to build up some better content from you here, some better videos, and hopefully we're going to continue to build one of the best new podcasts around.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone, for watching the Unscripted Podcast. We really appreciate it, and we'll catch you next week for our second episode with our guest. Have a good one.
Peace.